That's true.
That was the design philosophy behind I Want to Be the Guy. Anyway.
Well, that game is clearly like just a troll game. One of those dang old troll games you always hear
That's
about.
like one of those things that, like
Kaizo Mario is what it is.
When I review a game, like I'm always trying to look out for the game design, you know?
Yeah.
When I talk about stuff. But then, like, I'll say, like, oh, the only reason this is hard is because of, you know, bad game design. And then people will be like, you just don't like it because it's hard. And they're, like, totally missing the point that I'm calling out bad game design that makes things artificially harder and tedious.
You know what? On one hand, I totally agree with your argument. I totally, like, know that you sort of understand the difference between bad game design and difficulty. But on the other hand, you really are not a big fan of very difficult games.
Well, I mean, like, for example, I'm referencing something in particular. I don't know if you watched my review of DKC3. Did you?
No. I know what you think of the game.
But
Does that help?
Basically, you remember that one level where you have to climb up that rope with the little fire chasing you?
Yes.
Basically, that level is like really, really annoying and takes a lot of tries because you can barely see where you're going. Because, like, on the one hand, you've got the fire at the bottom of the rope pushing you up towards the top of the screen. But at the top of the screen, you're getting ambushed by a bunch of enemies that you can't really see.
It's like if you've never played a Sonic game before and you play Sonic Genesis for the Game Boy and say, I hate this game, and it's not because it's hard, it's because it's frustrating hard. It's not good, challenging hard.
So you would agree that handicapping the player with a bad camera is bad game design and not legitimate difficulty?
I'd say so.
Yet I got like a comment from someone saying, you just don't like the game because it's hard.
Michael, you do understand that YouTube comments are notoriously stupid.
Yes, but still, you agree with me that in this particular instance, I'm not just talking out of my ass.
Yes. Well, I mean, I don't really remember that level as much, but I think that you are smart enough to understand the difference and sort of look at it from a... You're able to step out of your own experience and say, hey, this is designed in a way which would make most players angry and wouldn't... It's not because it's...
You know, I'm all up
difficult in a way that's frustrating.
Oh, we found her.
What do you mean you made it? You just didn't she try to like ram you to death earlier?
No, she was trying to escape. Well, I think she got mad, then she ran the wall.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden she's like,
there's a cave in, and then she's just like, I'll meet you down farther in the cave. So that's what just happened.
That was fucking stupid.
So we're looking for the spell stone, I guess. Now here's the thing.
What's the thing?
The spell stones were what was keeping the pieces of the planet attached to the dinosaur planet, if I'm not mistaken.
That makes a whole lot of fucking sense.
Also, she came through here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm now not sure how that works, but
she's one of those amazing shrinking mammoths that you're always hearing about. One of those.
I know. I guess what happened was General Scales took the spell stone from the temple and then brought it here, and then that's why
I'm waiting
here.
for the but.
But then.
Yep, there.
Yeah,
here it comes.
But then why would the gatekeeper know where it is on this little area if Scales brought it here? That makes no sense.
You can clearly track it with the spellstone tracker. What are you, stupid?
Die! Why did these take so many hits to kill?
Because they had boxing.
People think this is a good game?
Yeah.
Oy.
People really like this. A lot of people really like this game.
Yeah, I'm sure that I'm breaking a lot of hearts with some of my commentary.
What I want to talk about is nostalgia. How is it so hard for people to understand when they like something because of nostalgia? Do some people just not understand like what that concept is? I mean, I'm not talking.
I think it's because people like to kid themselves. We all do, all of us, even me.
I suppose. Like
I try not to let it cloud my mind too much, but when I was reviewing the DKC remakes, like, on one hand I could see where I might be biased, because, for one thing, a lot of people hate the soundtracks in the remakes.
But you like them.
I think they're fine. I think they sound fine, and I think that if you were to listen to them, you'd think that they sound alright too. But a lot of people are just like, it doesn't sound like the SNES. It doesn't sound exactly like the SNES version, so therefore it's bad. You know.
Yes.
And on one hand, I can see why they feel that way, and I can appreciate it when a remake tries to keep the same sound. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, the hardware is so different that they kind of had to change it. And in some of the ways they changed it, they actually, I think, made it sound better. Like Forest Interlude in the GBA version of DKC2, I think actually sounds better than the Super Nintendo version, because they changed the instruments that they used. But, you know, like, on one hand, I can see why people would like the SNES sound more and think that that's, like, objectively better, quote-unquote. This is going to be a pain in my ass, isn't it? But on the other hand, I feel
I remember this part, too.
But on the other hand, I feel like people are just biased towards the SNES version because they grew up with it. Yeah. But on the other hand, the same thing could be said of me, you know, because I grew up the other way around.
Yes.
So it's just like, who's right in this situation?
Gotta
you know what I mean?
Back. I'm glad this conversation is distracting you from this horrible bullshit. But they're all following a pattern, so you just have to go slower and sort of watch the pattern.
Gotta aim the camera.
Well, bias is always gonna. It's impossible not to have bias.
Like, I try to avoid it as much as I can, but it's just like, on the other hand, like, I try to open up a conversation where I can. Well, and not, like, just assume that something's true just because everybody believes it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's for a very good reason, and when that's the case, I'll acknowledge that as being the case, but, you know, at the same time...
It frustrates you when there are so many people, which is why I think the sacred barbecue would be great. Well, it's just amazing how powerful that thing is. Like how once again we're talking about those adventure games. A lot of people love those games because they loved them as kids, right?
Yeah.
Most people who go back and look at them and like, I know you know very little about them, but some of the logic in there like isn't logic. It's so I used the barbecue sauce to choke the guard dog to death, so I could use the barbecue sauce-filled dog corpse to block the passageway and therefore create a dam, which will no longer let the wheel work, so I can get up and face the final enemy.
So with that Broken Age game, they sort of made it less cryptic, and then people.
Yes, they did in the first. Yeah, in the first. So they're like, this isn't how I felt when I was a kid. This doesn't feel like that. So when in the second part is notoriously silly, with like it's, you know, barbecue sauce put in choked dog to the logic, right? And then people didn't like it. So it's like it's such.
Why won't Fox climb the ladder?
It's such an other side, my friend.
Oh,
obviously. I mean, what are you stupid?
Okay, what the fuck?
But I mean,
at least Eric could figure that out. Yeah. Otherwise, we'd be fucked.
I don't know about that. I'm pretty sure you will figure out in a second. What I like is one of the only games that has actually thought of that problem that I've ever played, of ladders, of just having a right side, is Gears of War. In Gears of War, if you go up to the wrong side of the ladder, they get on the ladder, but they climb around. There's like a little animation for it. Mm-hmm. And you're like, why doesn't every game do that?
That is a good question.
That's a good question.
I will say, however, that's not one of the reasons why I think this is the worst game I've played. But
no,
it's pretty minor.
Because that's a pretty standard problem. But nostalgia, I mean, everybody has it. It's just
right.
Sometimes you have to open your eyes a little bit. Like, for example, I really, really like Mario 64.
Yeah.
It hasn't necessarily aged that great. There are a lot of problems.
I honestly think it's aged fine enough. It's more like the games that have come out since are just so much better that coming back to it feels kind of like a waste of time.
Aspects of them are. I mean, I still really like. I
think Galaxy
really
is like undeniably. Galaxy 1 and 2 are undeniably, in my opinion, the best games in the series, bar none.
I think I like the physics in Super Mario Sunshine, and even to a degree, minus some issues, Mario 64. I think Galaxy is a little bit too floaty.
I would agree, but at the same time, it works better for the platforming in that game.
Yeah, it makes sense in that game with all the.
I mean, like I said in the Sunshine playthrough, I think that game has the best control of any 3D Mario game.
Yeah.
But I still think Galaxy 1 and 2 are better.
Well, but are you also considering the 2D Marios?
Yes, I think it's better than Super Mario World.
Gotcha. Well, like, how much should you compare 3D platformers to 2D platformers?
You know, I don't get, because like I'll hear people, you know, just sort of say, like, I'm thinking of one review in particular. You could probably guess the reviewer. Like, he basically no, but he basically said, "Oh yeah, Super Mario Galaxy is this great 3D Mario game, definitely the best one I've reviewed so far, but it's not better than Super Mario World, and I'm still waiting for a game to top that." And he doesn't really explain why he felt that way. So it just felt like yeah, but Mario World's just better, you know?
Well,
and I don't understand how anyone could think that, because the graphics in Super Mario Galaxy are better, the music is better, the level design is better, there's more variety, there's more content, there's better bosses.
But I feel like you both are making the same mistake there, in that I don't think they're all that. That's like the constant comparison people are making between Star Trek and Star Wars. Why would you compare them besides the word star in them?
This is the most infuriating fucking thing ever.
Yes, that sounds like pretty awful. But it's like a 2D platformer and 3D platformer, and one of them's more of a... It tends to be... There's a lot more collecting in one game. There's definitely a little... But, it's... I don't know how... Like, that's like almost... You wouldn't compare a fighting game to a tennis game, and besides the fact that they're both platforms based off of platforming, I don't know necessarily that they're all that comparable. You know what I mean?
This could be bad.
How far back are we? How far back are we, Michael? Michael,
I don't know what happens.
Did you save recently? Okay,
it just
good.
respawns you. Okay, thank God.
That's really good. Oh man.
I thought it was gonna. I thought it was gonna reload my last save
when you died.
That's good, at least.
Yeah, that
so
is.
we don't have to replay more of this than we have.
It's funny. Even Zelda games usually spawn at the beginning of the dungeon. Bad.
Well, it's not like this. This is a dungeon. It's
Can
more
we discuss
like
how these
labyrinth.
barrels are defying physics?
Yeah.
Why are they bouncing back? Whatever. I love that. That's something gamers will always do. With even the most ridiculous video games, they'll bring up the logical questions, and everybody does it.
I don't have the patience for this. I just don't. Can I be done with this little section now?
Yes. Oh, that almost hit you, Michael. Watch out for the barrel. How dare you dodge?
I can barely even see because it's going around in a circle.
That was a nice pun, by the way.
What?
You can what even see?
Can barely even see. Oh my God.
Oh, I was really hoping you get hit by that last one.
Yeah, I'm sure you were.
Oh, that would have been great. I can barely see why you.
Now I gotta set it here.
What happened last time?
I didn't know. I tried to throw it at that other thing because I thought that's what you're supposed to do. But no, what you're supposed to do is drop it there, climb up this ladder, and then use the switch to pull the barrel back up to this upper floor.
I just realized I've been playing with this case the whole time, and it might have made a lot of noise.
Well, I didn't notice, so I doubt the viewer will.
I hope so. Franklinly. So what are you looking forward to in gaming, Michael?
In gaming?
Because right now you've sort of been content with sort of looking at like older games and reviewing them and stuff. What about Michael of now? What games do you want to see?
God. I want to focus on this part.
Okay. Dun 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 What was the oh, I'm thinking of Magmore Caverns.
No, don't turn it off.
Crate. It's a crate day.
It's a good thing that... How did that switch get stuck behind the wall? Whatever.
Duh. What are you, stupid?
I mean, to be honest, a lot of these...
Puzzles are shit.
No. A lot of the questions I've been asking about logic apply to Zelda as well, so it's like...
Yeah.
I can't be a double standard about this. So, whatever.
Yes.
I'll accept it.
Yes. Yes.
Yosh.
The answer is video games, video games, video games. This part rocks. It's a bolder move than most would make.
That's a bolder move than I've ever made before.
Man, they need to bring back Crocomire.
He was supposed to be in Zero Mission, but
Well, isn't the only, obviously Ridley, but wasn't the only other reference to an older boss Fantoon?
Fantoon wasn't in Zero Mission.
Oh, not. I was thinking. Why was I thinking of Other M? What on earth was I thinking of Other M when you said Zero Mission?
Yeah, I'm not sure why myself.
Weird. I can't wait for the boss.
Yeah, I was hoping this dungeon has taken like a couple hours already. It's been a while.
It hasn't taken a couple hours. We've only been recording this session for an hour and a half.
I don't know. It's a hell of a lot longer than I remember it being. Is all I'm saying.
See, this is the part I remembered with the barrels.
Yes, this little section is the part of the dungeon I happen to remember as well. I think that after this, we're almost done. So.
And then the game only gets better. The good news is, in between this and the next dungeon will be tons of fun minigames. Timed, usually.
Listen to the music.
Just like cut off.
Yeah. Hello there.
It's a Bokoblin running a searchlight.
Yeah, you know, I may think Wind Waker's overrated, but it's a much better GameCube adventure game.
Nostalgia again, but I love Wind Waker. I think its biggest problem is the classic problem with apparently my childhood games: too much water. See what I did there? Although, granted, I didn't necessarily like. I want that song to play every time I get out of a bathtub.